I'd only been in Hollow Creek for 3 weeks when I heard about the rules. The sheriff dropped them on my desk the morning of October 31st. Just a plain sheet of paper with 5 neat lines typed out and a red stamp at the top. Mandatory enforcement. Halloween only. Well, I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. Rule number 1. Be off the streets by 9 p.m. Rule number 2. Do not answer knocks after that hour. Rule number 3. Do not look directly at the children wearing masks after midnight. Rule number 4. Do not follow the music. And last, rule number 5. Burn the offering before sunrise. I'd come from Riley, city born and bred. I wasn't used to small towns that smelled like pine and silence, where the loudest thing after dark was the wind cutting through the gaps in old wooden homes. Sheriff Darnell was the kind of man carved from the land itself. Face like bark, eyes like thunderclouds. He didn't smile when he gave me the list. "Just follow the damn rules, Mason," he said, sliding me a black thermos of coffee that looked older than my badge. "You'll see why if you don't." He walked out before I could ask. I'm pretty sure he spit that on my shoe, by the way. But nevertheless, by 7 that evening, the whole town of Hollow Creek was buzzing with that weird small town charm. Kids in costumes, porch lights glowing orange, laughter echoing down the emptying streets. But as the sun dipped, I noticed something was off. People started disappearing. One moment, a group of kids dressed as skeletons sprinted past me toward the general store. The next, they were gone. Every porch light went out like someone had thrown a switch. And by 8:30, the town was quiet. Too quiet for a Halloween night. I radioed in. "Sheriff, where is everybody?" Static, then his voice, low and tense. "Get inside, deputy. It's almost 9. I laughed it off at first. I figured maybe the town had some quirky curfew tradition. But when I saw the clock on my dash flip to 9, the streetlights flickered, then died completely. Darkness swallowed everything. The air changed. It wasn't just night anymore. It was thick, like breathing through wet cloth. My radio hissed with whispers I couldn't make out. That's when I saw her. A little girl standing in the middle of the street. She wore a porcelain mask, cracked down the center, with the painted red lips that didn't move. Her dress was old-fashioned, something out of a black and white photo. "Hey, sweetheart," I said, stepping out of the cruiser. "You lost?" She tilted her head. The mask smiled, though she didn't. And then, knock, knock, knock. The sound didn't come from her. It came from behind me, from the cruiser door I'd just closed. 3 sharp knocks, like knuckles on metal. But no one was there. When I turned back, the girl was gone. By 9:30, I'd locked myself in the station. Sheriff Darnell wasn't answering calls. The other deputies, Thompson and Ruiz, were both off duty. Outside, the fog had rolled in. It wasn't normal fog. It pulsed. It moved against the wind. Then came the first knock on the station door. 3 sharp taps. I froze. My hand hovered near my gun. "Sheriff," I called. No answer. Another set of knocks, louder this time. Then a voice. "Deputy Mason, you forgot to light your porch." I didn't have a porch. I swallowed hard, my heart hammering. "Who is this?"
"You shouldn't be awake."
The voice was wrong. It came through the door like it was whispering through a wall of water. I backed away slowly, gun raised, until I tripped over a chair. The knocking stopped, but outside the glass, I saw shapes, small figures walking down Main Street, holding jack-o'-lanterns that glowed too bright. Their faces were hidden under masks, each one different, each one cracked. They weren't kids. Their limbs were too long, their movements too still. And I realized what the second rule meant. Do not answer knocks after 9, because the ones knocking aren't human anymore. I must have blacked out, because when I opened my eyes again, the clock read 12:01. The fog had thickened until I could barely see across the street. That's when I heard it. Music, faint at first, then louder. A slow, haunting waltz drifting through the air like it was coming from an old gramophone. I pressed my hands over my ears. Rule number 4, do not follow the music, but the sound. It pulls you. It just doesn't call to you, it drags you like invisible strings tied around your heart. I stumbled out of the station before I even realized I was moving. The fog glowed faintly orange ahead, like candlelight through smoke. The music grew clear, the creak of violins, the scratch of an old record. And then I saw the procession. Hundreds of masked figures dancing in the town square, children, adults, even shapes that didn't look human anymore. They spun and twirled in perfect rhythm, their feet never touching the ground. At the center stood a figure in black, wearing a stag's skull with hollow eyes. In its hands, it held something small and flickering, a lantern made of bone. Every time the light inside it pulsed, another masked dancer stopped moving and dropped to the ground, vanishing like dust. I tried to back away, but the skull-head figure turned its empty gaze towards me and smiled. The next thing I remember, I was waking up on the church steps, drenched in dew. The fog was gone, the town silent again. It was 3:17 a.m. A rusted tin can sat beside me, filled with melted wax and ashes. My hands were blackened with soot. Sheriff Darnell was there too, standing a few feet away, his face pale and drawn. "You saw them," he said quietly. It wasn't a question. "What the hell happened?" I rasped. He handed me a lighter. "You made it through, but you didn't finish the last rule." I looked down at the tin can again, and then at the big old wet glob he just spit on the ground. "What offering?" I asked. He sighed, heavy and tired. "Every year, the town burns what they took. The masks, the bones, the ashes of the ones they almost claimed. If you don't burn it before sunrise, they stay." "They?" He looked at me, eyes hollow. "The hollow children." He took me to the edge of the woods just past the creek. There, in a shallow pit, lay piles of ashes and toys. Dolls with missing eyes, tiny shoes, photographs half burned. "We give them back what's left of their night," Darnell said. "That's the deal. We follow the rules. They leave us alone till next year." He lit the ashes, and the flames caught with unnatural speed, burning blue, then white. The sound that came from the woods wasn't human. It was laughter. Dozens of children laughing and crying at the same time. The trees shook. The ground hummed. And then it stopped. It just went quiet. And somehow, I felt as though that was worse than the noise. When the fire died down, Darnell turned to me. "Now you know why we follow the rules." By sunrise, Hollow Creek looked normal again. Kids' costumes hung drying on porches, as if nothing had even happened. The townsfolk smiled, waved, and pretended the night before was just another Halloween. But I couldn't unsee the things I saw. That night, they replayed over and over in my head. The music, the masks, the thing with the stag skull. When I asked Darnell who or what it was, he just said, "That's the one who collects the offerings. Don't speak its name, deputy. Names have power." 2 weeks later, I was back on night shift when I found something taped under my desk drawer. A yellowed scrap of paper, older than the others. It wasn't part of the list I'd been given. It was a 6th rule. Rule 6. Never stay after your first year. My stomach dropped. I looked at the calendar. Next Halloween was already circled in red. And underneath, in someone's shaky handwriting, were 3 words. See you soon. Halloween came fast. I'd thought about leaving, about getting as far from Hollow Creek as I could, but something held me back. Curiosity, maybe? I don't know. Or the fact that Sheriff never let me sign a transfer request. By mid-October, strange things started again. The fog returned. People whispered about hearing music from the woods. And that's when I noticed the posters. They were plastered all over town, old, faded. Missing child posters, dozens of them, all dated October 31st. Each year, one kid missing. Except last year. There was no poster for last year. And that's when it hit me. There was no poster because I was the one who took their place. October 31st. The air was colder than usual, sharp and heavy with pine and smoke. The rules were posted on every lamppost now, bright red against black paper. I tried to warn people, tried to make them leave, but no one listened. They smiled, nodded, and locked their doors early, just like always. By 9 p.m., I was alone again. The lights went out, the fog returned, and somewhere out there in the dark, I heard the music start. I stayed inside, gun in my hand, reciting the rules like a prayer. But then, knock, 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 3 times. This time it was on the window. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Deputy Mason, the voice whispered, soft as silk. It's almost time to burn the offering. And I glanced at the clock, 3:58 a.m. Sunrise was close, but the voice came again, louder now, childlike, pleading.
Please help us.
My hand moved to the latch before my brain could stop it, and I opened the window. Fog poured in like smoke, and standing there were the children, the Hollow children, faces hidden behind their cracked porcelain masks. Their eyes glowed faintly blue. And behind them, the stag-headed figure waited, holding that lantern of bone. Its light pulsed, hungry. The offering, it said in a voice that made the air shiver. I don't have one, I whispered. The figure tilted its head.
Then we take you instead.
No one saw me after that night. When the sun rose, my cruiser sat abandoned outside the station. The radio crackled with static, and in the passenger seat was a tin can full of ashes. Sheriff Darnell found it. He stared at it for a long time before whispering, "He burned it too late." The town moved on. They added one more name to their quiet list of missing. And next Halloween, 5 new rules were painted and nailed to the bulletin board in front of town. But this time, there was a 6th rule. Rule number 1, be off the streets by 9 p.m. Rule number 2, do not answer the knocks after that hour. Rule number 3, do not look directly at the children wearing masks after midnight. Rule number 4, do not follow the music. Rule number 5, burn the offering before sunrise. And rule number 6, never stay after your first year. And on the back of every copy, written in shaky handwriting, was one last message. Deputy Mason tried to save us. Now, he dances with them.